Dr. Warren has already talked to you about the different centers that we have within ourselves. And you can see how beautifully they are placed. And how gradually, when the Kundalini rises, how she enlightens the innermost core of the centers. There are 3 channels in the central channel. And the innermost channel is used by Kundalini to pierce through for the first time. We can imagine Kundalini to be made of many strands of energy twined together just like a rope. And as the chakras start opening, more strands start getting awakened and they pierce through these 6 centers. But if a person, after realization, just thinks that he has got the realization, then he doesn't have to bother about it, may lose it for the time being, for quite some time I should say. And he'll have to work much harder to re-establish his self-realization. I have seen many a times when we give realization to people, they say, yes, we have felt it, they did feel it, everything happens. And then they lose it because they have not established their realization properly. For which, luckily, in every place wherever I go, I see to it that we already have a center established. Then you can go to that center and you can learn from them how to establish your realization. That is a very, very important time which must be taken into consideration. There was a lady who had cancer. She was cured of her cancer. She was perfectly all right. And she went back to her family. She was doing very well. And after some time, a year or so, she came back with another disease of a very serious nature. So I asked her, how is it that you are cured of cancer, now you get another disease? Did you do anything about it? No, mother. I went back from here. Everybody says you are looking very fine. You are all right. They were all quite surprised how I was cured. And I never bothered to do anything about it. So she got another trouble. You go on like this. You cure one thing, then you again cure another thing. Like little children, you clean them, then again they get out and soil their clothes. Again they are back in the bathroom, then again you clean them. Again they do the same thing. So you have to mature. After realization, you must, in all wisdom and sensible behavior, you must mature it. Otherwise, it's a big headache to me and big headache to you. And you can be quite lost also with it. Because if a seed is half sprouted, it is of no use at all. So, if you want that you should really have the complete bliss of self-realization, you have to become a little serious person about it. Shallow temperament is not going to help you. Or looking at it as if like one other guru shopping business, it is not going to work out. You have to work to see that you establish yourself. Till you have established, you are not to work on other people. But once you are established, you can start working on other people, giving them realization. There is no need then for you to bother that you will catch from others or anything. But before that, you should not try to help others First help yourself. Selfishness to begin with. Unless and until you are all right and you know all the methods of protecting yourself, you are not to indulge into Sahaja Yoga practices which helps others. But when you become an expert, when you have an expertise, then you should do it. Like a mechanic who doesn't know how to repair a car may spoil it more. So better become an expert, for which you don't have to pay anything. You don't have to do much about it, but only to understand how you have to move the Kundalini within you, how you have to establish it back, what problems you have, and how you have to cure them. You'll be surprised, you won't be aware of problems that you have. One gentleman came and told me, Mother, everyone is coming and asking me, what about your father? What's the problem? I said, everybody said the same. He said, yes. I said, I also want to know, what about your father? He said, my father died very early in life and I always had a feeling that I had no father. That can be cured. And he developed asthma with it. So everybody knows, those who know one thing, that is the truth about you. All of them will say the same thing. Even if it's a small child, he'll also come and ask you that, is your father all right? Because if he knows that this center on the right hand side means the father. So he will also say the same thing. And then he will come and ask you, what about your father? It is so remarkable sometimes the way people see these things that they can't believe it. But this is nothing. What you get is just a wee bit of it. But as Kundalini rises, on every center, you start getting the light of that center. At the first center, you get back your innocence. Your eyes become innocent. Your behavior becomes innocent. You are not filled with lust and greed. You don't look at things with lust and greed, but you look at things with innocence, which is a very big thing that people have lost, and that you get back. And such a person develops many qualities. One of them is that such a person is full of fragrance. Such a person has a tremendous gravity. Tremendous gravity. And such a person has tremendous dynamism, and attraction is a bad word, so I don't want to use it, but magnetic. His magnet is awakened within him. This is the center of your magnet, of the earth. Such a person develops a tremendous sense of roads and sense of direction. You place him anywhere, he will know where to go, like birds. You place birds anywhere, they know which side is north, south, east, west. In the same way, you also develop your lost innocence and your magnet within you by which you have proper direction. But the highest of all, you develop the proper direction to wisdom, which is the wise thing to do. You just don't do stupid things. You just don't do. Even if you ever try to do it, you will not do it because you know it is so stupid. Just you don't do it. I mean, it is so simple to be wise than to be stupid. Because if you have to be stupid, you have to go out of the way to be stupid and idiotic. But if you want to be normal and wise, is the easiest thing to do. But what people do is to do things that would make them more and more stupid, nonsensical. Because also some people told me they do it, the reason being they think they have a nuisance value. Like in London now we have one funny stuff going on, they call it what? Punk rock. You see, it's a funny stuff. Now, poor things, they don't know what they are doing. And I think only value of that punk rock system is this, that they try to sort of make a nuisance out of them so that people feel attracted towards them, or sort of a significance out of them. But when you become a realized soul, you realize your significance because you understand you are part and parcel of the whole, and that your significance is to give realization to others. The highest of highest. That's what you have to do. Now you are a saint. And that's how the whole attitude of cheapishness, of outward shallowness finishes, and you become a serene, dignified personality. This is not possible through any sermon, any lecture. It is only possible when the Kundalini rises, you become like a very dignified child. Very dignified child. I had seen one beautiful painting done of Mother Mary being taught first time. If you see her as a child, she is a very dignified personality. As a child, she is about 10 years of age. I have seen my own grandchildren who are not very old but extremely dignified. They walk like kings, behave like kings. In every behavior, you find there's such a dignity. They'll never do something shallow. They'll never ask for anything. They never weep for anything. They never cry for anything. They're so dignified and they understand it so well what is dignity is. I don't have to tell them because they're born realized. In the same way, you become that. Nobody has to tell you that do this or do that. But you understand that you must have self-respect. This happens to you automatically. This is actualization. Nobody has to tell you that you be dignified, you just become. I have seen people who were absolutely absurd. Even from this punk rock we got some people. And they were so changed that people could not recognize them. But one thing bad has happened with this punk rock, that they put some sort of dye in their head, and since then their eyes became very weak. Because these dyes, I think, make the optic lobe covered with some sort of a color, and you can't see properly, and the eyes became very weak. And it took some time for us to remove the effect of those dyes from their head. We go headlong. What's wrong? There's nothing wrong in this world if it is a stupid fool. But for a wise man, there are very many things which are absolutely wrong, and there are very many things which are absolutely correct. So you develop your wisdom by this first center. Now, as the Kundalini rises, she enlightens your second center, which we can call as the Swadhisthana chakra for the time being, though it is the third center, but first, second center. You become extremely creative. Extremely creative. I know of a gentleman who came to me, he had no job. And he said, Mother, I have no job, and what should I do? I said, all right, what do you want to do? He said, whatever you say. I said, all right, why don't you become an interior decorator? He said, me, I don't know what is a teak wood, I don't know what is a rosewood, how am I to become an interior decorator? I said, you just use your vibrations. And you'll be surprised, he earned millions of rupees out of that profession. Because you become extremely creative. Your sense of creation becomes so subtle and so beautiful that you start understanding art at such a high level that people don't know how, when you are not educated in art, how you can do it. I went to Japan once and they were having an ikebana competition or something. So I went to see the ikebana class. They requested me, why don't you do some flower arrangement? I said, all right, I'll do it. I did it. And I got the highest marks without knowing a word about ikebana. Just surprising. I got the highest mark. I can do lots of things which I have never done before, like architecture. I have built houses without doing any architecture. I have done decorations of the houses. I have done all kinds of things without knowing how to do it. Because you become so creative. Music you start understanding so much better. There are people now, in America there's a girl, she had a horrible hoarse voice, absolutely hoarse voice, and she always used to go out of tune. So I told her, you shouldn't sing songs before me because it's rather funny. She said, Mother, why don't you give me a good voice? I said, you just try your Vishuddhi chakra if your Vishuddhi chakra is corrected, you will be all right. So the Vishuddhi chakra she tried on Vishuddhi chakra giving vibrations, and she sings so melodiously now that actually she can be a great singer. So the creativity, that also is a blessing of your power, of the goddess of learning. Boys who could not study in the schools were absolutely duffers. Some people brought, there is a boy, recently I received a letter from him. When he came to me, his father said that he is going to be taken out of school because he is good for nothing, he cannot remember anything, he is absolutely finished. I said, all right, doesn't matter, let him take to surgery. He got his realization. Not only that he passed with first class, but he got a scholarship. Then he passed another exam, he got a scholarship. Now he's got a very big job. At a very young age, he wrote to me, Mother, no one can believe that a duffer like me has been so much highly placed. All the boys who got scholarships in Maharashtra, in schools, in colleges and university are Sahajogis. It is such a tremendous force that starts working in. If you try to give vibrations, say, to fruits or to trees or to, say, wheat and such things which are very important for life, any food, you'll be amazed that the food also grows so much more and the taste is so good and it lasts you so longer. Like one gentleman tried, a university professor in agricultural college, on some wheat, some vibrations. And he was amazed that when they collected this wheat was at least 6 times more than normal. And when this wheat was stored in a big hall like this, there were so many other things. The rats, who are always a menace in India, never touched that wheat. They ate all the rest of it but never touched the wheat. Even the animals, the snakes, even the tigers, of course the dogs and the cats understand it much more. They understand you. They know that you are a saint. They'll never touch you. They'll never trouble you. Even a tiger sees a saint, he never attacks. You can handle a tiger very easily. This is the power of a saint. So you develop a tremendous capacity of creativity. The greatest capacity you have then is of creating a new human being out of an ordinary human being. This is the greatest blessing you have, that you transform an egg into a bird. And that is the epitome, that is the spiritual power you have by which you can transform the whole human race into a new race which has this 5th dimension within yourself. You can start talking on science. Now we have a scientist here and he's done his science, he's a doctor of science and this and that in chemistry. And I explained to him about this, where is the hydrogen and oxygen and nitrogen and all that within us, and he was amazed. He said, Mother, how do you know all these things? I said, I don't know how I know, but I know. That's what it is. You just have a look at this. And he was amazed how I was telling him about spiral movement and linear movement of peptones. He said that for this I had to study so much. I said, for Sahaja Yoga you don't have to study. A little bit you know and immediately you click the point. Now, this is the second thing that you know in your learnings, in your education, you are all right. But the mastery of this center comes, when you know the pure knowledge of handling the Kundaliní, the pure knowledge of spirit, the pure knowledge of the blessings of God, of Rutambhara Pragya. If you know that, that is the highest that you achieve gradually as you grow. Because when the center starts expanding on the sides, you start expanding in your personality, in your sensitivity, and in your evolutionary ascent. So that is how you start growing from one to another, to another, to another. Now the third center that we have, actually this is the second center, because the third center arises, this Swadhisthana arises out of the Navi. is a very, very important center. It's the center of your seeking, as he has told you. Your complete priorities change. Complete priorities change. Because the joy that you get out of Sahaja Yoga, the joy you get out of this meditation, out of the feeling that flows in you all the time, like a beautiful torrential rain of joy that fills you, your life and everybody's life. You don't care for cheap type of entertainment. You feel you seek other Sahaja Yogi. You want to meet another Sahaja Yogi. You don't want to meet anybody else. If there's an actor coming or some big man is coming, all right, let him come. I am going to see such and such person. It is such a different personality that one day I'll tell you how it happens. There was a girl, a diplomat. She's a diplomat who is a realized soul, and she happened to go to Sicily. And she was eating her food. Suddenly she felt there's some vibrations coming around. She looked around. The other one was also looking at her. She said, "Are you Mataji's disciple?" She said, "Yes, I am Mataji's child." They both got up and just hugged and said, "Such joy, Mother, in that far-fetched place of Sicily to find a Sahaja Yogi." And then they kept together. And they wouldn't go anywhere else, but they said, "No, this is the enjoyment." Just the company of a Sahaja Yogi is such an enjoyment. I have seen these people when they go to India. The people are not so rich, poor people, they have little huts. But when they go there, you should see the love, the rapport. And that makes me so happy, the way they love each other, the way they understand each other, the way they help each other. And only the company, for the first time you start enjoying. We were once in a hotel, staying in Calcutta, and there were two Sahaja Yogis with me. They were in the other room, quite far away. They couldn't get a room close to me. And one gentleman came for his realization. He came to my field. When he got realization, it was a tremendous happening. And they came rushing from there. I said, "What happened?" They said, "We felt the vibrations. We felt the vibrations from their mother, so we have come to receive the vibrations." And they came and they felt the vibrations. So this man was so great that his vibrations attracted them and they came down. And then they were just enjoying that as if they were enjoying a big flower with lots of fragrance. What vibrations, what vibrations. The fellow got up, he said, "Very nice, they are enjoying my vibrations. Now I am going to enjoy your vibrations." For the first time you start enjoying your fellow men. Because everyone is a beautiful personality, a glorious, fragrant, joyful personality. But because you cannot feel the other person, and because the other person does not emit, you are all the time quarreling. Even husband, wife quarreling, father, mother quarreling, this one quarreling, that quarreling. In Sahaja Yoga, there's hardly any time for people to quarrel. The other day I had a lady who came to see me, and she was trying to put her point. And there were about 5-6 Sahaja Yogis, and everybody was putting the same point. And she was amazed. She said, "I have never seen such concord, such friendship, such understanding, all of them supporting each other, nobody is cutting anyone." Such a society has to develop. It's such a nourishing, soothing, invigorating society. And you forget about getting bored. Boredom goes out of life. You never get bored. You enjoy yourself or you enjoy the company of Sahaja Yogis, and it's a very different level that you come out. That is what, that land you have to reach within yourself.